We're gonna do that again. Pretend like you're dead.
Oh, dude, that's a little morbid, don't you think?
Thank you guys all for coming back to another episode of the Rooftop Pod. As you guys can tell, our sister is no longer with us, so this episode will be in honor of our sister, who we love dearly.
We loved a little bit.
She had her flaws, but yeah, she was a great sister overall.
Yeah, she was
She was okay. We're just kidding. Rachel, get over here. Rachel!
No, she's really gone, Jesse.
I haven't fully come to accept.
It's okay. The first step of grief is denial. What the
We're
heck?
kidding.
Who
Rachel's
is this?
actually here. Yay. Oh, wait. Yay. Applause. Back. All right, get in. All right, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Rooftop Pod. I'm your host, Jesse, and joining me today, coming right back from the ski slopes just a minute ago, we have my sister, Rachel.
Hello.
Talk into the mic, please,
Okay,
Rachel.
sorry. No, the blanket's too too short.
And I have my brother, Andrew, who is joining us again as well.
What's up? What's up?
And as you can tell, we are not on a rooftop, nor are we at home. We are
In a pod.
Where are we?
Steamboat Springs, Colorado.
Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Andrew's native state. He loves it here. It's his favorite state in America.
His favorite.
I do love Colorado.
Colorado's good.
It is a great
We
state.
love Colorado.
I-
Living here, not so much.
This is true.
Yeah.
But
Visiting?
the nature, the skiing, A1. All right, so we're going to jump right into it and talk about our biggest insecurities.
Well,
No, I'm just
Okay,
kidding. Well,
sure.
not really. So we're going to be talking
That's
a little
actually a
bit
great
about
topic.
beauty standards and body image today. And oh my goodness, it's going to be loud today. I actually
Dude.
want to address one thing first.
Okay.
And that's
Oh.
a couple comments that we got on
Oh, yeah.
the last
Oh,
TikTok
true,
that
true,
kind of
true.
blew up a little bit.
Yeah.
So we made a TikTok recently about our mom's immigration story to the U.S. A lot of people actually connected with her story a lot, especially children of immigrants and also immigrants themselves. A lot of people seem to have the same experience of moving to a foreign country and losing a loved one while they're in a foreign country and not being able to go back to be with their loved ones during the grieving process. And it was really touching to see a lot of your guys' comments. I read through a lot of them, and I really appreciate you guys sharing kind of the same experiences that you guys had as well. One thing caught my eye, though, while I was scrolling through the comments, and it was directed towards one thing that I said at the beginning about how my mom didn't find my dad attractive because he was short and dark. And we just wanted to clear the air. We don't subscribe to any beliefs about ascribing beauty to certain skin tones.
Yes.
And I don't think our mother did either. It was just a product of, it's kind of a joke that she made.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a product of the culture that she was brought up in.
Right.
Yeah.
East Asian beauty standards very much values pale skin because I feel like
Not even East Asian, just like culture in general
Yeah.
values.
Global
pale
culture.
skin. Yeah.
Yeah. Our mom used to tell us that as a joke because by Chinese beauty standards, our dad was not the most attractive back in the day. But now he's coming to America, having tan skin, dark skin is actually
more desirable.
a more desirable feature.
Well, I would say, okay, so the context of, paler skin being more beautiful in a lot of cultures is the fact that having paler skin means that you're probably more wealthy because you don't have to be out in the fields working every day, right?
Right.
And so,
So having pale skin's almost a
Social
status
economic
symbol.
status, right.
yeah, status
Interesting.
symbol, right?
Okay.
But then the reason why my mom says that as a joke now is because she wants her kids to be outside. Like she wants us to be active outside, like doing things, playing outside, doing sports outside, whatever. And because maybe that is a status symbol in itself, like being able to do sports and whatnot in America. I don't know. Anyways,
These beauty standards and socioeconomic status symbols are constantly evolving with the culture, the times, the society that you're in. Being fat used to be looked up upon because it was something that,
right, you could eat more.
yeah, that was something that portrayed wealth and something that portrayed abundance. Whereas now, it's ascribed to laziness. And of course, we don't believe in all this because there are many genetic factors and factors that you can't necessarily control that go into this. But we're just saying that these kind of standards evolve with time and they evolve with the different cultures that you're in. And it was more sort of a lighthearted joke to put that in the TikTok. I'm glad some of you guys called us out, because we want to be held accountable for these kind of things, and kind of talk about it openly as well. But more on the
colorism
topic,
yeah.
especially as it pertains to Asian cultures. A lot of people think that this idea of colorism kind of evolved as a product of colonialism. And Rachel and I kind of looked into this a little bit. And we found that this actually existed much before colonialism in many Asian countries, including Japan, Korea, China. It was a symbol of purity.
In South Asian cultures too?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, especially in India. But it was interesting to see that it was already this general concept of having paler or more fair skin existed in Asia before colonialism, before European beauty standards kind of infected Asian countries.
Yeah.
So what was the
there's no good reason why.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was gonna say
It was like people were just
I think it
put
is
on
just
powdered white makeup because
a symbol of purity, maybe.
Yeah, that's
because I know
kind of
that
what I read.
geishas all too like would paint their faces white,
Yeah.
or it was just like in general for a lot of cultural things it would just be like white. White
We can
makeup.
look into it and kind of get back on that subject.
Oh my gosh, it would
But-
be like Joe Rogan having his guy like pull the thing
Yeah,
out.
Oh,
to his
yeah.
face.
producer on set and
Yeah.
fact check
One day. Right now, that's just me on my phone. Okay, let's see. History of white beauty standards in Asia. Pre-colonialism. In Korean shamanism teachings, a person with white skin is respected. In fact, Korean myths where Korean shamanism originated illustrate that the first superhuman was born white. In the upper class of the Koryo dynasty, children washed their faces with peach flower water to make their skin clean, white, and transparent before marriage. Young girls would go through great lengths to ensure their skin was as white as can be. In Japan, there's an old Japanese proverb that says white skin covers 7 flaws, kind of saying that if you have white skin, you can get away with more flaws. In the Edo period, this from 1603 to 1868, it was a moral duty for women to apply white powder to their face in order to achieve skin that looks like white polished stone. In China, goddesses and Buddha were often depicted as white in art, literature, and other visual forms. White skin can conceal 100 defects in your appearance. In fact, the whitening of faces predates the Qing period from 221 to 206 BC, which was a source of cultural pride.
See, I feel like my tanner skin covers my defects.
I was gonna say, because this is just like a small little comment, because when I get acne scars,
Exactly.
they look more prominent on me than they do on Andrew.
Exactly.
And it's the same thing with like shaving, because we have darker hair, so when you have lighter skin, you can see the hair more prominently.
It's
than,
actually
like,
kind of
on you guys.
interesting. It says here that in China, the whitened skin was a source of cultural pride because it concealed defects on the skin. I'm guessing because they wore makeup, but it also enhanced facial symmetry, especially in the contrast of black eyelashes and black hair. So Chinese people, they understand the concept of contrast and how that grabs people's attention. So if you have pale skin, but you have dark hair, dark eyelashes, dark eyebrows, the pale skin kind of contrasts with those features.
Right.
And maybe that's more visually appealing.
I think also in a lot of performing arts, like I know in theater, because I have a lot of friends in theater, like they put on really dramatic makeup, like a lot darker.
Because of the lighting.
just so it looks better. And that's
In
probably
harsh lighting.
why that also holds true, because obviously there's a rich like cultural history of art
Theater and performance.
in China, and
China.
so that's probably
Interesting.
one of the things. Maybe
It's just interesting that beauty standard has stayed relevant in China since like 221 BC. It has been millennia of this belief being held in China, which is crazy because the length that people go to maintain fair skin in China is ridiculous. Wild. In the boiling hot heat in China, you can see all the women, even men, will be covered from head to toe in like
long sleeve,
long pants, a hat, sunglasses, visors, and some people even carry around umbrellas to provide shade for themselves. And the funniest thing is that I've seen in China are those motorcycle like arm covers. Have you seen those when you're in China?
Like
they're like
kind of
connected.
translucent ones that.
They're not translucent. Well, they have to be opaque in
Oh,
order
you're
to
right.
block the sunlight. But they have
Wait.
these arm covers that they use when they're riding their little mopeds and stuff. That cover their entire
yeah.
arm, just so that their arms also don't tan when they're riding around or commuting.
Yeah.
Put a picture of that up.
Yeah, I can
Throw
put
it
a
up,
picture of
yeah.
that out, but it's insane the lengths that people go to in order to maintain
Yeah.
their fair skin in China.
And I know, especially in India, like there are a lot of products, like skincare products that are marketed towards lightening your skin. Like a lot of the things,
Like sunscreen.
no, like face wash products that will have ingredients in it that will literally lighten your skin.
Yeah, I think there's even a medical procedure that can be done to like remove melanin from your skin or
Whoa.
remove melanocytes. I think it was in this. Actually, I've never heard of it, even though I'm in medicine. Contemporary Times. I saw that in another article, but that just goes to show the crazy lengths that people
Yeah,
go to
yeah, and
to keep
obviously
fair
it's
skin.
probably not good for your skin if you're lightening
Oh,
it, because I
no.
think it's like
Oh,
skin bleaching
no.
products.
No, having fair skin is
Yeah.
actually very bad for you. It puts you at way higher risks for melanoma. Like people with white people have a way. I'm just gonna say it how it is.
Yeah.
White people have a much higher risk for skin cancer because dark skin protects you from UV damage. Now that we're in the U.S., it's kind of interesting to think about how here the beauty standards are different from China. And it's interesting to see, this is a thought that just popped into my head, but it's interesting to see some people that I met in college who like tailored their look to like American beauty standards, but then moved abroad afterwards to like Korea or like China or like anywhere in Asia, and how their look kind of molds to fit in the look in the country that they're living in.
Do you think it's just in the sense of makeup and what, like the clothing that they wear?
Yeah, both. Definitely
Okay.
makeup, clothing. In Asia, it's really popular to get plastic surgery. Seeing people trying to kind of fit themselves in the society they live in, seeing that transition is quite interesting to me. It's interesting to kind of think about how we try to fit into American standards of beauty when we were kids. And we've talked about this a little bit, how we both, all three of us kind of, this was another thing that annoyed me posting stuff on TikTok, was us talking about how we wanted to be white in growing up in Ohio, and people being like, oh, you guys are weak for like wanting to be white, like you guys should have been proud. But we were kids in like elementary school, and kids are brutal. They're like,
Yeah.
white kids in Ohio, they'll find any difference that you have, and we're Asian, so we're obviously
Yeah.
different from them. They'll pick at those differences and make you feel bad for looking a certain way.
Or they might not even be doing it intentionally, but as a kid, you want to fit in. And so by
Yeah.
them pointing out differences, it's like, oh. And it's like not in a nice way either. It's not
Oh,
in
no.
a...
A lot of times it's definitely intentionally meant to be mean and outcasting you, for sure.
Really?
So,
I don't know if they're.
I don't
Yeah.
know if it's...
I think
There were some things that were
Yes.
definitely like, no.
there were more so cases of passive aggressiveness, but there were
Yes.
definitely
Microaggressions. Yeah,
but
that's
there were
for sure, yeah.
definitely also like very direct aggressiveness.
Yes. Yeah.
Aggression.
And I think model minority myth was a huge thing, especially where we grew up. And so there were just a lot of expectations placed upon us by white people in particular. Like they, like I'll just say, like they expected you to be smart, and when you weren't, they would point that out.
Sorry that they pointed that out to you.
I don't know. I don't know if I got one out for that. No, just kidding.
I met those expectations.
No, because like I had a couple friends that would be like, oh yeah, I'm just a dumb Asian. Like, why do you have to clarify
Dumb
that?
Asian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I see,
you
I
can just
see.
be a dumb person.
No, but like
no,
they were
honey,
smart
you're just
people.
a dumb person.
They were smart people. They
In
just
their
didn't
own
fit
way
the expectations that were placed upon
of
them
academics,
by
Yeah.
smartness. Yeah. So I just wanted to say it wasn't something. Of course, I would have liked to be more proud of my appearance,
100%.
my
Like I
heritage.
look
of
back
course.
and I'm ashamed.
Yeah, no, we're
like,
ashamed
I don't.
of that,
Yeah.
of course, and we're sorry that we felt that way. But it was something that, as kids, it's very hard for us to feel any different, just because what you wanted to do as a kid was just to fit in, and that wasn't something that we could do that easily looking the way. Or, whereas kids in California who go to very diverse schools, and I feel like some of the comments came from people who grew up around or grew up in communities where they didn't feel like an outsider. And I wish I had that experience growing up where I didn't feel like I hated myself. But at the same time, I'm also glad we had the experiences growing up in communities where we were the minority.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of growing that came out of that, I would say, for sure.
Yeah.
And a strong turn for all of us in reclaiming our cultures, which was a good process that I think we went through.
Yeah. And I think it's definitely something that we can be wary of, especially with our little brothers and also like maybe future kids.
Yeah, but
things like
even
that,
for them, like America is just getting more and more diverse.
Yeah.
Even Ohio is becoming more and more diverse. Like when I used to run cross country, I was one of 2 Asian kids on a team, 1 or 2 Asian kids on the team. And now Philip and John are on a cross country team it's like predominantly Asian kids, like Indian, Chinese, Korean kids, which is pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
I think that might just be Mason though.
No. Yes, it's definitely
Right. Yeah.
Mason. But I don't think
Mason's
Philip
in
and John
Ohio.
will ever grow up with the kind of experiences that.
Yeah. Especially with the representation that they have too.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like
They won't have the quintessential lunchbox experience anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not going to have,
Yeah.
they're not going to be the only
They
Asian
do
kid
have
in
their
a class.
lunchbox moments, but now it's like
People want their food.
Yeah, it's like
Exactly.
moments of pride, which is something that I'm incredibly envious of. But it's something that I also experience now as an adult. I definitely can still
Yeah.
like whenever I bring my mom's food to either work or to like events, people will be like, "Wow, this is so cool! Thanks for sharing that with us." It's a really awesome experience now. All right, let's pivot really quickly to, well, kind of on a similar note. Instead of having like issues with our culture and heritage growing up, like I know we each also, well, I know I had insecurities about body image growing up as well. And that kind of led to a whole fitness journey for me, Andrew, and I don't know if for girls it matters as much, but for guys, there's definitely this expectation or this society standard of what makes a man,
Yeah.
and what makes you desirable as a man. Right. And I think growing up, even now, I'm like my body is naturally operating at a very high metabolic rate, which of course for most people they would see that as a benefit, but for me it's always kept me from being able to build size and build mass. No matter how hard I train, no matter how much I try to eat, for some reason I can't get above a certain weight. And that was something that I was really frustrated on, but that also caused me to start pivoting more towards building strength rather than mass. I don't know if you guys have had any or wanted to speak on some of your insecurities about body image growing up.
I have a question about
Yeah.
yours, because I feel like Andrew has a similar experience.
I do. We can get to that.
Yeah. Or I guess I'll let you share first, and then I'll ask questions.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like me and Jesse have a very similar build in terms of being naturally
really.
skinny.
Or
Not
similar
anymore.
build. No, okay, just keep going. Okay. Yeah. I'll let you keep going. I don't think we have a similar build. We're definitely both on the smaller side, but skinnier side.
It's skinnier. Yeah, we're not exactly the
Damn,
same.
I hate
but
admitting that to the internet.
You're skinny.
You're small.
Oh
No.
my gosh.
No, but I mean, similar to you, Jesse, I feel like we started working out because of similar motives. Because traditionally growing up, Asian Americans, especially in mainstream media, were portrayed as the more studious, academic, more like
physically incapable,
physically
weak.
smaller. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so for us, it was, hey, we want
fulfill that stereotype.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't want to fit into the mold of that stereotype.
Yeah.
Which is why we got into working out.
Right.
So I don't know. Ever since we started working out at an incredibly young age.
Yeah,
at
like middle school days.
7th grade, 9th grade, and that's just been the fitness journey ever since.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of my biggest insecurities growing up was not just being skinny, but I have been very insecure about my wrists and my forearms.
Oh, interesting.
I've always been super insecure about how skinny my forearms are. You know how you can like do the finger wrapping around your wrist kind of thing?
Yes.
Like I have a lot of space left. Like I can fit my pinky and my thumb around.
Wow, you do have small
I
wrists.
have
What the
small
heck?
wrists. Yeah, so
Oh
what
my
I would used to
goodness.
do, I would almost always wear long sleeves as a kid just to hide it. Or when I do, I would
Interesting,
try to like
Whoa.
hide my wrists from people's sight. So I know every angle of my forearms that make it look skinny and when it doesn't. So like when I have people, I know from the front view if it's
You do
slightly
have really small-
pronated, if it's slightly
Whoa.
pronated, this looks
Yeah.
really skinny. But like from this angle, from the anterior angle of my wrist, it doesn't look as noticeably skinny, right? It just looks like a normal wrist. But
Yeah.
when you look at it from this angle, I know it looks incredibly
Oh yeah,
skinny.
that looks really disproportionate.
Exactly.
Dang.
So this was
Dang.
I would not have picked up on that
this was a
at all
huge
whatsoever.
insecurity of mine as a kid.
Whoa.
And one thing I used to do as a kid was I used to do hella wrist curls, just in secret. I would be like in class, under the desk, like while the teacher's like giving
Yeah.
a lesson or a lecture. I'd be doing wrist curls underneath the table the entire
like with
day.
no weights, just
Just
wrist
no.
curls?
I mean, when I went to the weight room, I would
Does
do it
that
with
help?
weights. No.
No,
I
yeah,
was
because you
gonna
don't
say.
build muscle here. You
It's-
build
Yeah.
it on your forearms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so my forearms are kind of normal, but
In fact, it might make it even more disproportionately small because of how beefy your forearms
yeah,
are
but
going to
as,
get.
when
As a
I was
kid,
a
you don't
kid,
know
I,
that,
I was
exactly.
naive, and I was
Yeah.
like, this is not something I can change really about myself.
Right,
This
it's
is
your
mostly because
insertions.
I have large or long, lanky limbs, and my forearm, from my elbow to my wrist. Okay, we'll keep talking about this once I reach.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah. That's weird that you were insecure about.
I'm not gonna
that.
lie. It's not even body dysmorphia, but my insecurities obviously
Are
came
you
from
recording?
my siblings. Oh, okay. We can keep this audio.
I was gonna be like, this sounds like Andrew wants it to be recorded.
Oh, no, I don't know. This one, well, I guess if we're talking about our insecurities, I was gonna talk about my thighs because that's
Oh,
what.
I was gonna talk about mine.
Oh, hell yeah, we can talk about that together. Hell yeah.
Thunder dies.
Thunder that.
Why is that insecure?
Oh, because I remember. Okay, we're gonna talk about this conversation sophomore year. I had no insecurities about my body after I started
I've
working out.
Always had insecurity, like
Um,
literally always.
But yeah, anyways, I would try to do all these wrist exercises, but there's nothing I can do to defeat the genetics of my just lanky build. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've just learned to accept it. I'm still kind of insecure about it when I'm.
Yeah.
Don't
meeting
be.
people.
I, love your
just-
wrists.
Thanks,
They're
Rick.
so small
Yeah.
and slender.
So
And
dainty, so
dainty and
delicate. It's a good thing.
Anyways,
is.
it supports a lot of weight. I can bench a lot.
Yeah, you
And
can bench a
despite
lot,
my-
which is weird.
Despite the little resistance and the little support that I get from my
Wrist
wrist,
wraps,
I
it's
can
fine.
wrist
still-
wraps, yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
even really use wrist wraps.
Yeah,
I've
you
trained
guys
them
have
to.
strong
They're just
wrists.
they're strong,
Yeah.
but they're
'cause of
still
all the-
small.
Yeah.
wrist-
because of all the wrist curls I used to do.
Yeah.
But there's actually one more insecurity that, dude. Why am I
Yeah, keep on going,
so
keep on going,
happy
man.
about
I'm just
talking about
Hey,
this?
because
Laying
you've
on the
overcome
table.
it.
Yeah.
No,
Now you can
'cause a
talk
lot of
about it.
A lot of it's no longer a real insecurity. It's
Oh,
definitely
okay,
stuff
good,
that I
good,
think
good.
about. But my lats are kind of disproportional.
Like
I also
too
have
small?
a really
You
strong
have-
back.
yeah.
Not to brag, but like my right lat is like noticeably bigger than my left lat. And one time,
I remember you
my
talking
friend
about this.
commented on
Yeah.
that on one of my Instagram posts, and I couldn't unsee it since then.
Oh.
I don't. Is that an insecurity?
Yeah, a
The
little bit.
unevenness.
Yeah,
I see,
asymmetry,
I see.
especially in the world of bodybuilding, is
Yeah.
definitely something that it's a genetic
Yeah.
Yeah.
thing that you can't really change. Well, to some degree you can. Like if you have strength imbalances, you can definitely change that. But with muscle asymmetry, it's mostly genetics and something that you can't change.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's something I live with.
Wait. Okay. So question for both of you
Mhm.
on like because I feel like what you talked about mostly relates to Western beauty standards in terms of wanting to overcome what Western culture had said like Asians are supposed to be, I guess, or at least East Asians.
Sure.
How do you think it relates to East Asian beauty standards? Like when you go back to China, do you think that you're considered, or like do you think
Question.
tall, slender men are more?
I would say in China, I'm more attractive than Andrew.
Oh yeah.
And then in
Yeah.
America, I think people consider Andrew more attractive than I am.
You do? You think?
Just look at the Instagram followers.
I'm so
Hey, that's not-
flattered.
No, Andrew has
Just
been
kidding.
marketing himself for longer, but
That's fair. He also has thirst traps.
that's very different types of marketing schemes.
Yeah. We post fitness content on the internet.
Yeah, you can follow that.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
but I don't know. I don't think about it that much because I think in China, people look for more feminine features, I would say, in a face, and they
Yeah.
also like height, obviously. But
Right.
that's
Yeah,
that's
but
kind
global.
of pan-cultural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like a lot of East beauty standards now are trickling into Western beauty standards too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Pretty
Fox eye.
boys.
Yeah, exactly.
Timothy Chalamet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily. Yeah, maybe I would be interested to look at any studies that kind of correlate Asian beauty standards and the feminization of American fashion.
Oh,
Beauty
or
standards?
like the androgynous, like the more androgynous direction.
Yeah,
I mean, I
I don't
just
know if
gonna-
it's an Asian influence necessarily.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
We'd
if
have
it's
to
East
talk
Asian.
to Karina about that. That's a
true.
really
Yeah,
interesting
get Karina
topic,
on the
actually.
pod.
Ah, that's true. Karina, please come back to New York, please.
We miss you. We
We
need your
really miss you.
expertise.
I do.
None of us have expertise about any
Yeah.
of these things. But yeah, what was the question? You asked a
Our
question.
insecurity.
Oh, how do your insecurities relate to like East Asian beauty standards?
I don't know. I haven't been to China in so long. I feel like I'm not subjected
That's
to
true.
East Asian beauty standards.
That's
so.
fair.
I've actually, when I went back to China in like 2018, like right after graduating college, I was single back then. I'm still single, but I was on
Yeah.
dating apps while I was
Yeah.
in China.
I remember this.
And I would say I did pretty well for myself.
Do you think
in the
you
short
did
time I was
better
there.
out there than you're doing here?
But I
Oh,
don't
you're in
think I don't
Cleveland.
think I don't think
That's a sore spot.
Sorry.
no, I think I actually did do better back in China because not necessarily. I don't think it was because of how I looked, but it was because I was American.
American.
Oh.
Yeah.
And being
It's the
American is
visa.
very highly
true.
valued
Yeah.
there because
Yeah.
I was seen as foreign and I don't know, exotic. Probably not exotic, but
Yeah.
I was American, so
Yeah.
that's probably why it was like I was
More
more,
of a draw.
Desirable
Yeah.
trait.
desirable
Yeah.
in China.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's interesting because I think now, because of how tides are kind of changing and the beauty standards in America are kind of changing, I think being an Asian male actually helps your cause a little more.
Oh yeah.
think so.
Especially with K-pop, I think
Yeah.
there's definitely some
I have noticed, yeah, it's
fetishization
definitely
going
a lot
on.
of it is
yeah.
probably
Which
fetishization.
welcome to the club.
I'm not mad at it yet, but I feel like at some point, because I haven't met anyone that's
Right.
outright. Actually, no, it did happen to me once. Where
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah.
yeah.
Where,
You've
where-
been downright fetishized?
Yeah.
Whoa.
But it was not.
Yeah.
Well, that's not
I
good.
just like brushed it off. I didn't like talk to the person. I just
Okay.
ignored them, which is probably why. But if it happened incessantly, I could see that being an issue for me.
Oh,
so,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
But right now, it's
Haha.
like I'm like, it hasn't happened really that often
Yeah.
to me yet.
Wait,
so.
Rachel, have you felt that? Like white people are only interested in you because you're Asian?
Oh, 100%. There's
Whoa.
like it's okay. So
But can it also be like a mindset that like you project onto other people now
No.
that you have that expectation?
Well, wait, I want to hear this.
listen. So
Okay.
I have like my checklist, right?
Hmm.
Because in Ohio, most of the guys here white.
White, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
Rebecca, you want to say something
You
to
want
the
to be on camera,
audience?
Rebecca?
Okay,
Okay.
then leave. Just kidding. We're recording something. It's an interview. Huh? Yeah, we're going to... Maybe. Anyways, we're going to let Rachel continue talking.
Okay, anyways, so when I get hit on, right?
Sure.
There's like a couple things that make me think.
The alarms,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah. The red
Sets
flags,
off
are
the
right?
alarms.
The like big red flags. Most of the time, like the white guys who hit on me, either they're like weirdly interested
it's not
in
just white
Asian.
guys that do it. A lot of other...
Well, I'm just
race-
saying like
okay.
my experience in
Non-Asians.
Ohio, right?
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
weirdly interested in Asian culture, and like they'll be on the e-board of like an Asian American organization on campus. So those are like the big red flags of, but why?
Is it not okay for other people outside of a culture to appreciate and to engage in cultural practices?
I think that's fine.
Because I also saw that in college, but I didn't see that necessarily as an issue, but rather of
I think when I'm
their
getting
deep appreciation for our culture.
Hit on, like, or maybe it's also
different. That's
exactly.
different. Yeah.
It's like, especially if they don't know me, and it's like the first conversations that we have, they like intentionally bring that up. That's a red flag to me. Yeah.
Okay. Like the first thing that they want to talk to you about is
it's like, oh, look at how involved in Asian culture I am.
Yeah, look
and
at
I'm
how
just
knowledgeable
like,
I am about this.
Cool,
Let me
good for
impress
you.
with your own-
Yeah.
That's never happened to me, so I
no, I can't say that's happened to me.
Yeah, but I could
Getting
see
hit
that
on?
being
Oh, what?
incredible. But I could definitely see that being incredibly annoying.
Yeah.
It's almost condescending to some degree.
Yeah, I think
do you think they mean ill intent when they do that, or do you think, hey, like they're just
what
very?
What do you mean by ill intent?
Oh, that's true. You're right. If they're hitting on you, they're probably not being ill intent.
The ulterior motive.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like, and it might just be me projecting as well. But especially with how Asian women have been portrayed as like submissive and quiet, it's definitely like something that I keep my eye out for.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's circle back to body image and maybe even body dysmorphia to some degree.
We don't talk about it.
I feel like Andrew has a little more to talk about on this subject than us.
Yeah, it's weird because I actually never really had any problems with like my body image growing up in elementary school, even middle school. I think once I started working out, I was pretty happy with how I looked during the early stages of my fitness journey because of those newbie gains. I thought I was making a lot of progress, and I was very happy with the outcome of all that. I think it's like small hints of body dysmorphia started coming to play when I got deeper into the fitness realm. So once I started programming my workouts, once I started tracking my macros, that's when I started being like very hyper-focused and hypercritical about everything when it comes to fitness, from what I ate to how I looked.
So that doesn't, your hyper-focus on like your macros isn't necessarily a product of body dysmorphia?
No.
Okay. Where does that come
tracking
from?
macros was actually super interesting.
I definitely thought that you had an ED in college, like at some point, because you would tell me that like after you ate something that wasn't considered healthy, you'd go run a couple miles to like burn it off.
After I drank a lot, I would run the next morning, which was not good. Both of those activities.
I also did that because I feel like exercising after a night out makes you it kind of cleanses your body. It just moves the blood around, kind of circulates everything, clears your body a little bit of the toxins.
It's weird because I will say tracking macros, and I think this is a really personal, subjective view of how I track macros. Whenever friends come to me and ask me about nutrition, I never recommend tracking macros right off the bat because it can lead to a lot of eating disorders. But for me, I got really into fitness, and then I had all this information in my head about what was optimal for my diet, and the fact that I didn't know what I was putting into my body stressed me out. So when I started tracking my macros, it actually gave me a little bit of mental peace. And then I
Sounds like OCD. This sounds more like OCD
potentially,
than it has to do with body dysmorphia.
Oh, geez, we're gonna re-diagnose me. But I mean, I no longer weigh everything out, and I
you don't?
Do you
Oh,
see me with a
He's
scale?
loosely
Well,
estimates,
because we're on
yeah.
vacation. So
Yeah.
You used to do this on vacation, which
Oh.
would annoy the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Where Andrew would be weighing out
Oh,
all the
yeah.
foods that he's
It
eating.
was pretty
I'm just
bad.
like, bro, just eat the food.
I know.
man. Like,
I know.
It doesn't
Enjoy
matter. We're on
yourself.
vacation.
Indulge a little.
But at
Yeah.
home, I still see you weighing out food.
Yeah,
like
every
your little
once in a while.
protein in your
Yeah.
cereal and stuff.
I will say it's because I did this for 3 years and it's kind of become habit.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I do it really off and on. I still track just to make sure I'm generally on track. But the body dysmorphia low-key came from just off-the-rack clothing. And Jesse, you,
Me.
not to call you out, but
did I
this
do?
comment stuck to me since
Oh.
sophomore year of college.
Oh.
I remember I was wearing, this is after I like gained like 10 pounds. I was going through like a bulk. I had not yet
Okay.
refreshed my wardrobe. And then I was wearing a pair of jeans that were, in retrospect, probably too tight. And Jesse called me out on that in college. And I just remember being like,
I just said your
"Dang."
jeans were too tight. What did
Yeah.
I say?
Something like that. I can't remember the exact wording, but it was when Marianne
Bro, I
was
say
there
that,
too.
I say that
And
all the
so-
time just because your quads are massive, but it's almost like more of a
I remember
compliment.
you being
Yeah.
like, because I was wearing the jeans and you're like, dude, bro, why are you wearing pants so tight? And then I remember going back to my dorm room. I switched to my
Crying
sweatpants.
about it.
No. And then you said, he was like, dude, why are your sweatpants so tight too? And then I remember Carissa saying like, what do you mean they're fine? Anyways,
remember any
this
of
is
this.
sophomore
So
year of
cool.
college.
There too.
But I mean, that has been a thing. Like my quads do be relatively thick
Bro,
compared to
what
the
kind
rest
of
of my
a-
legs.
What kind of a humble brag is that?
But that's why I got into all the running after I ate a lot because I
really?
thought running would slim down my thighs.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's
Okay.
why I ran
I
so
thought
much
guys
after I ate
Yeah.
wanted
everything.
thick thighs. I know girls, there's that like whole
Yeah.
thigh gap thing.
Yeah.
But now thick thighs
No, I was
save lives has
hella
come
insecure
back.
about that sophomore,
Really?
junior year. That's why I started running so much.
Interesting.
I have always been insecure about my thighs. Like I remember the
I've been
earliest.
insecure about my skinny thighs, so I was probably just speaking out of envy. But
Dang,
I
because
don't know. The way we interpret things are way different.
different.
the
Yeah.
earliest I can remember, like looking at my thighs and being like, "Oh, they're too big," I think is maybe second grade.
Whoa.
Like I was very,
Dang.
very conscious of it, and I
That's super
think
early.
it has a lot to do with East Asian beauty standards and also like Western culture beauty standards, where like girls, like anorexically skinny was the beauty standard,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Especially in China. And so when I looked at my like East Asian peers around me, like they were all dancers, super skinny, super frail. And I wasn't that. Like I would look at my legs and I'd be like, oh, it is like triple the size of the next person.
but-
I know. And like
Okay.
it was probably body
No, but that's how you
dysmorphia.
felt, yeah,
Yeah.
for
Because
sure.
like when I would sit down and my thighs would like flatten, I'd be like, oh my God. And so I was super self-conscious about that and like
Yeah.
having,
Oh, I eat.
Okay, yeah, we can do it in 10 minutes.
and so I like didn't even know what I could do about it. I think I remember growing up, like I would look into diets and like diet culture and all that stuff because internet was, anyways, what was I saying? What was I, oh yeah,
Research,
yeah.
Second grade.
Not in second grade.
Oh.
That probably happened
Oh,
more
okay.
towards middle school. Oh, especially when I was on Tumblr. Ooh, that was a bad
Tumblr
time.
girls.
Interesting.
Tumblr
Yeah,
girls had
what
a
is it
very
called?
specific look.
Skinny inspo, like
Ooh,
that was
Whoa.
That's so
awful.
toxic.
Yeah.
Tumblr used to be so
yeah,
toxic.
awful.
terrible.
Yeah.
Not good for middle school me.
Yeah,
let
middle
me
school
just
girls
say.
in general.
Yeah. And so, yeah, wild diet culture. I think I like tried restricting my eating for a while, and then
Is that why you went veg? No, that's not why you
no,
went vegetarian.
no,
Okay.
absolutely not.
Okay,
That was more because I didn't like the taste of meat.
sure.
But I don't have a lot of discipline, so whenever I'm like, oh, I don't look the way that I want to look, or like as skinny as I want to be. Let me do these things, and then I would try to do these things for like 2 days, and I'd be like, this isn't
This
for
ain't
me.
it, cheap.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
prioritize being fed over.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. That's a healthy mindset. Is like making sure you make your happiness a priority over like your body image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But some people's happiness is so inextricably tied to their body image. That's when it becomes unhealthy.
Yeah.
And when a lot of eating disorders start to occur.
Thunder ties.
I mean, it took me a minute, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Even just going back to you saying it's a humble brag, I don't think I took pride in having thicker thighs until very recently, like a couple years back, maybe. Throughout college, definitely was very insecure about it.
Yeah.
Even after graduating college. And I think, it's only been in the past couple years where I'm very happy with how I look and like not need to track macros to the extremes like ways I did in the past.
I wouldn't say I'm happy with how I look. I just don't care as much anymore. Now that I'm realizing my value as a person outside of just how I look, my happiness with my body image my happiness isn't as much tied to my body image as it was before. But before, I also think it's kind of interesting to see. You ever like, this sounds super judgmental, but do you ever go to the gym and notice what people are doing or what body part they're working out and being like, they're insecure about that because they're working out that body part so much?
What?
I don't think I've ever.
I don't think I've
No.
ever thought that.
No.
Because every single day, okay, maybe I'm just projecting because
The small
every
wrists.
time, but then nowadays, like I said
Someone doing
before,
Rio flies.
like I said before, I have skinny legs, and that's just part of being tall, and that's just
Flex.
because
Yeah.
part of being lanky. Sorry.
No. It's a good
Humble
So
brag.
every time I go to the gym, no matter what body part I'm hitting that day, I'll always do leg extensions.
Oh.
To grow my thigh. I do leg
interesting.
extensions every
Man,
single time I go
that's
to the
so-
gym.
Dang.
Now I'm
we
like, do
don't have
other
a
people
similar
do
balance.
this? Do other people like work on one body part a
I
lot
will
because they're
say-
insecure about it? And then I started noticing like, oh, that guy does that a lot. Is
Yeah.
he insecure about his arms? Is he insecure about his chest?
I will say
I think I'm projecting.
I avoid hitting certain body parts because I don't want it to get too bulky, and this is a wrong mindset for me. Like I've only
'cause
hit,
you have the opposite problem.
yeah,
Yeah. But
because I look
think that's a
too
girl
muscular
problem.
sometimes. But
such thing.
No
No
such
such
thing.
thing.
This is true. But I only hit chest like once or twice a month. But I think there's also this thing where it's like I don't really want pecs.
I mean, that's
But
fair.
that's
I mean,
like
yeah, that's fair.
doesn't fit the feminine image.
Yeah.
but-
Or I don't like the look of
Interesting.
it on
Yeah,
myself.
no, but
so.
that's
Yeah.
same thing with girls. Most girls go to the gym and mostly hit squats,
Whoa.
hip thrusts.
My favorite day, guess what it is?
Upper body day.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
Back and by.
But your favorite day doesn't necessarily correspond with what
I want
you
a
would
massive
like
back.
To.
She wants
All
to
right,
know how
good
that's
for
been.
you. I'm glad you do want a massive back.
No, and I
I
think
hope you
that's-
get that massive.
I think
back.
that's well, I think a lot of girls hate when the perception is that they only hit legs
Interesting.
because that's not true necessarily.
But if you were to chart out,
Check.
if you were to check the data, I'm sure there's a strong bias towards lower body exercises.
But I also feel like girls are probably stronger lower body, so it just makes them feel stronger.
does
when they
make
hit
sense.
It. Yeah.
At the gym, you gravitate towards
What you're good
exercises that you're good at, that you're strong at. So I've always gone benching a lot just because I know that's what's it called, ego lift at the gym. Yeah, whenever I want to feel like a big guy in the gym or like show people I have a sleeper build, I just put on my like really big baggy t-shirt and just rep out like 225, 250,
Oh, what
and
is
people
it?
would be
The
like
pump cover.
the pump cover. I mean,
Size
all
T.
just
All shirts are pump covers.
I have a small build, so like people don't expect it.
It's true.
It's fair.
It's kind of I like that aesthetic more than like being
The stringer tee.
no just like being obviously big and people expect you to be strong, you know.
Yeah.
I enjoy
That's
people
funny.
being caught off guard and be like, oh wow, he's pretty strong for
It's my
something I
That's
don't.
my
Yeah.
motto for life.
Yeah.
Set expectations low and cruise above them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I hit legs is for so I can ego lift. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
'Cause
You
people
do.
don't
You have a pretty
expect- yeah.
good squat. Yeah, I hide in a corner when I squat and hope no one watches me because my squat is so bad. It's worse than my bench. It's not worse than my bench, but
It's almost on par with your
Is it really?
It's surprising because no, it's not. It's not.
Okay.
It's not.
I Like
Okay.
I haven't
proportionally?
maxed out in a long time on
Okay.
squats.
I mean, you said
but
you were
if I did-
squatting 225, and
But
you said
it-
you were repping out 225 on bench.
Whoa.
Well, yeah, but it's just, squatting it feels so heavy. I don't know why. Cause I don't want to make excuses, but I'm taller, so the travel distance for squatting is
yeah.
also much larger.
Yeah.
So the amount
Yeah.
of work, which is force times distance, that I have to produce in order to squat the same amount of weight that a shorter person has to do is a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, all
That's
the
fair.
world-class power lifters are shorter builds,
Yeah.
That's because
or at least stockier
all
builds.
the
yeah.
weight has pressed them down.
That's not how
No,
it
that's
works.
not how it works.
But that's what
Does it
shocks me
stunt your
about
growth?
your bench. No, that's also been debunked.
Yeah, that doesn't make
because
really
your
any
arms
sense.
are so long, and the same
Yeah.
theory applies
Yeah,
for your
and
bench.
I don't know why my bench is. But think about it. What if I had shorter arms? My bench would be even
Yeah, that's
even better.
true.
Even stronger.
Even stronger, yeah.
Do you have that like insane arch when you bench?
No, I don't.
Okay.
It's
I
hard to
wish I
achieve that.
could.
I wish I
Yeah.
could.
Yeah,
You need
I
to
don't have
train
that
that
flexibility,
flexibility.
yeah.
That spine angle is really hard to achieve.
Yeah.
Honestly, I respect people who can do that. But
Yeah.
then again, their bench is like 3 inches off their chest.
Hey,
But
Okay.
if,
whatever
hey,
works, works.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
works. As long as
If it counts.
as long as it qualifies for whatever
Yeah.
federation you compete in,
Mm-hmm.
like
Exactly.
more power to you, because it's part of the game.
Yep. And that's why sumo deadlift.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
But also because it's better for my back.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the main reason I do
Yeah.
it.
I don't deadlift anymore because I've hurt myself so many
Wow.
times deadlifting.
Once
yeah.
I hit my deadlift number, I'm throwing deadlift out the window. I've injured my
Your
back too
lifetime
many
goal?
times. Yeah, 500 and then
Oh.
I don't even know where my belt is. My weightlifting belt. Is it
Dang.
at home?
Lever
The
belt.
lever belt?
Yeah.
Mm,
Okay,
fancy.
so we have to go eat dinner now, so we're gonna cut the pod here. But I really want to capture the beauty of
Yeah.
the mountainscape in the back.
Dude,
so
just overlay with
hopefully-
B-roll. Just
just in the morning, take a picture.
So maybe tomorrow I'm gonna make
Yeah.
rocking in the snow.
I'm gonna make everybody go outside and film this podcast.
Oh.
Hell no.
Is there like a
Just
heater
bundle up.
situation?
Like a portable one?
Yeah, like a space heater kind of thing.
I don't know.
We
Fire
can look
pit?
at it.
Oh, like
Jacuzzi?
here? No.
Yeah.
Ooh, a jacuzzi pod. Interesting.
It'd
There's
be
no
outside.
jacuzzi.
Okay.
Anyways, we're gonna go get ready for dinner or make dinner.
Jacuzzi, hot
No,
tub. Sorry.
Sorry,
Some-
ASMR.
Oh no.
All right, chill out.
Okay.
All
I'm
right,
done,
so
I'm
we're all
done.
gonna sign out here. This has been another episode of the Rooftop Pod, not on a rooftop this time. But thank
poker
you all
table.
for tuning in.
Indeed.
I'm your host Jesse, and signing out with me is my sister
Rachel.
and my brother.
Andrew.
Peace.
See ya.